Hey, beautiful. How are you doing today? You hear the birds chirping? A lot of us are trying to find our way, trying to find the correct thing to do, the correct thing to say, the correct way to go, the correct path to take. A lot of us are so stressed out about life, about being, about doing the right thing, about coming off the right way. I struggled my entire life with crippling anxiety. I was always so worried about how people would perceive me, so worried about making decisions that would somehow destroy my life, so worried about never being happy, never being okay, never finding my purpose. When I was a kid, it started off as anxiety about my parents and about their love for me. And I got older and it became anxiety about the kids at school and if they would accept me and, if teachers would like me. And it made me actually not speak like in public or to people at school or to anybody for a really long time. I remember even when strangers would come up to me and compliment me, I would be so worried about destroying their image of me by responding incorrectly. And that fear made me freeze up. It literally paralyzed me. And I wouldn't respond at all. I remember in high school, I still had this issue, and I actually ended up getting bullied out of my school. When it always blew my mind, like just how much people hated me from the moment I got there because I didn't speak to anybody, and I thought I was playing the safest way. After I moved from that school, it was time to graduate, time to decide what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I was terrified. I was terrified of disappointing my mom. I was terrified of becoming nothing, of never being truly happy, of never fulfilling my purpose. And so I decided that I would figure out a career in college that paid a lot of money and go and do that. And I got to college and I became more depressed than ever, more miserable than ever. Not only that, but I failed all my classes. I couldn't even muster up the courage to go most days. And another thing I always feared was never finding real love. Never knowing real love. Never being truly happy in a relationship. I remember for a long, long time, I always talked about how I would never get married because I'm terrified of marrying somebody that hates me, of being in a loveless marriage, of being unhappy for the rest of my life. And what I did from the 9th grade all the way through college was date the most abusive, manipulative, narcissistic people that not only killed me emotionally, but also hurt me physically. Even the ones that didn't put their hands on me in a way that was sexually abusive or physically abusive, which were very few, even the ones that didn't, they literally killed my body from the inside out. This is when I weighed the most. This is when my face had held so much trauma and weight in it. I am unrecognizable. People do not recognize me now, inside or out. And this really just goes to say that all this fear I've had and held my entire life has only created my worst fears. I became unfulfilled. I became depressed. I became somebody in constant toxicity and loveless relationships and friendships. I actually ended up destroying my relationship with my mom because I resented her so much. And the reason I resented her, and I was going through my notes the other day of the times I was in high school, still, and I was talking about a lot in these notes how I had always wanted to be a writer. I always wanted to be a singer. Something creative along those lines, and my mom had always told me it was not realistic. And so I just kept shrinking my dreams smaller and smaller. Oh, I want to be a makeup artist. But that's not realistic. Get something stable. Get something that will definitely make you money. And this is not to bash my mom by any means. It was, of course, coming out of love. But what you need to realize is that the only thing that is creating misery, the only thing holding you back, the only thing that can create all these huge fears that you have are your own fears and the fears that you have adopted from others. All of my fears I've ever had, people not liking me, never being in love, never being fulfilled, I destroyed those dreams on my own out of fear. Out of the fear that I would never be able to have those things. I adopted so many fears from the people around me, My mom's fear that I wouldn't be somebody that would be able to be stable. I would struggle the way that she had to struggle. And once again, coming out of so much love, but still fear. And I blocked my own happiness, my own dreams. And I created distance between the one person I wanted to make so proud. I developed my own fear of, not making her proud. And in doing so, destroyed our relationship. And thank God, thank myself, thank her, that we have grown and been able to rekindle and have an amazing, beautiful relationship now. But it's all really just goes to say, and when I started recording this, I didn't even really have a direct thing I wanted to talk about, but this just sits so heavily on me. If you're so worried about your future, if you're so worried about making the right choice, chances are you already have the right choice within you. You already know what you truly want to do. You already know who you truly are. And all this fear, all this anxiety is coming from the doubt that you can do it, or the doubt that you deserve it, or the doubt that opportunity, that life, that reality is out there for you. So if you are doubting that, if you are scared that you can't have everything you ever dreamed of, I'm here to tell you right now, you can have more than everything you ever dreamed of. Our only limits, and this is so true, and I know it's so hard for some of you to believe. The birds are so beautiful. The only limit that you have are the limits that you put on yourself. The limits you allow other people to put on you. I tell people to stop acting from their mind and start acting from their hearts. And that is where the most successful come from. That is where you will find the most happiness, the most wisdom, the most success, the most abundance. And when I tell people that, a lot of times they will immediately hit me with I used to follow my heart, and that got me hurt, that got me broken. I want you to realize that a lot of you actually weren't following your heart. Maybe you originally were following your heart, but at some point along the way you got very into your mind, because your heart can't feel pain. And this is hard to explain for me sometimes, but I want you to understand that if you were truly living from your heart, the outside world could not hurt you, because you would be so fulfilled, so validated in the things that you do every day. Even if the world took everything physical from you, they can never take the eternal peace and love and happiness that you just have for life from living from your heart. Your heart is always correct. Anything that's ever been placed on your heart, you were meant to have. And when you start living from it instead of in your mind, that is when your life becomes so beautiful. And you'll realize that you actually won't have to worry about any of these things. A lot of you worry about money, being in a perfect relationship. You'll realize when you start acting from your heart, being who you truly are, that these things just come naturally. Your life is easily abundant and easy. You get all of these things that you ever wanted, and it's not difficult. It's not hard. Life is so hard because y'all believe it's so hard. You believe that it has to be hard for you, but it's not. You believe you're at a disadvantage, but you're not. You are just as capable. You are just as worthy. Life is just as easy for you as it is for anybody else, as long as you let it be. Your mind is what creates all these imaginary problems, all these imaginary issues, all these imaginary limits. Who are you to say that you are not the most amazing, beautiful, bright light? Who are you to put such a limit on yourself, to victimize yourself like this? Who are you to say you are not worthy? Who are you to say that somebody else has it better off, somebody else has more luck, somebody else can do it, but you can't? Who are you? Is it just that you're scared? You got to realize it's just because you're scared. You got to realize this is such a lack of self-worth and confidence and validation in yourself. You have to realize that you've let your mind and the world outside of you start to control who you truly are, start blocking you from your heart. You start acting from your mind. You start worrying about so many unnecessary issues, and in doing so, by worrying about them, you attract them. There are no real problems. There are no real issues unless you let it be. Traffic is not a problem unless you choose to be mad about it. No money is not a problem unless you let it be. And y'all need to also realize that y'all be so focused on the negative in your life that you close your eyes to all of the solutions, all of the positive, all the gifts that have been given to you. If the universe destroys something in your life, if you are living a life that you felt like was, average, normal, you were complacent, and the universe destroys that for you, you lose your job, you lose your house, you lose your boyfriend, whatever you got going on. It did that because it knew that was the only way that you would step into your true potential. You got to realize everything's always working out for you. You are meant to be the brightest fucking light. You are. You're meant to be everything. You're meant to be who the childhood you want. My phone actually just ran out of storage, so I'm going to start to wrap this up. But the childhood you that had all these big dreams, all these aspirations, so much love for the world, so much optimism, made the best out of every situation, was so imaginative, was in love with nature. That is who you truly are. That was you before you started to conform to society, before you allowed them to place their limits and their fears on you, before you started to seek love from other people. Your love comes from you. Your love comes from the love you put out into the world. Y'all need to start being who you really are. And the more you put that out there, the more you put that authenticity out there, the more you put that love and light out there, the more it will come back to you. Stop being so fucking worried. Stop speaking so much hate. Stop speaking so much insecurity. Stop speaking so much doubt. You are meant to have everything. You have everything, but your life is exactly what the fuck you speak. It is. So if you speak all these limits, all these fears, all this hardship, that's what the fuck you're gonna live. But when you start looking at the positive side of things, when you start looking at how life is actually working out for you, you will realize you've had miracles every single fucking day. You've had a chance to start your new life, the life you've always dreamed of, every single day. The universe has been setting you up for success, and you have chosen to ignore it. You've chosen to pity yourself and victimize yourself. You get to be whoever you want to be. You get to live whatever life you want to live, but just know that if you hate your life right now, that's what you're choosing. And you don't got to live this life. Don't blame nobody else. Don't be mad. This is what you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. Nobody can control you. But I'm telling you right now, the universe is setting you up to be that person you've always wanted to be. And at any moment, you can go ahead and step into them. So like I said, my phone did just run out of storage. So I'm going to wrap it up right here and just let you know, the moment you start living from your heart, that's when life becomes heaven. That's when you create heaven on earth. Eckhart Tolle once said, "The secret to life is to die before you die." When you die, you shed all of the human parts of you. You're done with all the limitations, problems, hatred, lack of the world. and you are your authentic, limitless self. You are abundant, you are happy, you are pure, you are light. And if you can achieve that on earth, if you can be that right here, you create heaven on earth. You have everything you've ever wanted. You don't gotta die to experience heaven. You don't gotta have to die. You just have to stop pretending you're a human, because you are always a spirit first. I love you so much. If you want to learn how to get rid of these limiting beliefs and start manifesting the life of your dreams, I do have a workbook. It's called Get the Fuck Up, A Pretty Girl's Guide to Success. It's on my website, www.petalselflove.store. It's linked in my description as well. And yeah, I'll put my link tree in my description too if you want to follow me on other things. I am writing more books and more workbooks. I'm very excited for just all the things I have coming out. I've been very blessed to be so in sync with the universe and just have so many amazing, beautiful ideas. And I'm really here to change the fucking world. So I'm also working on an enlightenment project of, I just call it reviving. At first I was calling it reviving Knoxville, but it's really reviving the earth, reviving the world. I'm starting in Knoxville because that's where I am right now. But I am trying to put something together where we can make rehabilitating homeless centers, where we can give back to the homeless, revive them, because you guys need to realize that we are all one. Reviving each other, including reviving the planet, because I want to also help clean up this planet as well. Reviving each other, enlightening each other, spreading light and love to each other, that's given right back into us, because we are all one. When you create harmony in the universe, you're creating abundance for yourself and everybody around you. In order to be truly happy, you have to be giving out light and happiness at every turn, every second of every day, breathing light. You create what you speak. Your life is exactly what you speak. You get back what you give out times 10. So I love you so fucking much. You know, follow my site. I also have a blog. It's the same thing, www.petalselflove.com. And I'm going to start posting on there a lot more. And yeah. I love you a lot. I really do. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, beautiful. I love you so much. I really do. I feel your light through the fucking screen. Namaste.